Let's go fishing. I'm on a mission. It's so pretty, I'd sure hate to waste this chance. We'll find a shady little spot, not too cool, not too high. Perfect for a little fishing.
Morning guys, it's August the 28th and Thursday morning, and I fished the Old Timers tournament this morning and caught some fish. You'll see here as I go on here when I weigh them in here at the weigh-in. But I caught the first one. I kept track of it this morning. Somebody asked me to keep track of it. I get texts all the time to ask me to do stuff. I do it. I'll do it, but sometimes it takes me. I don't always read my texts like I should. But they asked me to tell me times and stuff when I'm catching fish. The first fish I caught this morning was at 6:30. And it was just, you can see it's pretty dark. And then just from 6:30 to 7:15, it's when I caught my fish. 7:15, they were coming up, and how do I say this? They weren't really grabbing then. They would just come up and like bump it. You know what I mean? Just come up and like either bump it with, the side of it or something. They quit feeding. At 7:15, they quit feeding this morning. And but you can see, I had a good time from 6:30 to 7:15. So again, guys, if you come out here and do it, come out to early. Get out here early, right at daylight. It gets daylight at 6:30. Try to be on the water at least 6 o'clock, and come out down and fish the Old Timers tournament. If you're close here to Okeechobee, come down here and fish the Old Timers tournament. We leave about anywhere, just when it starts breaking day, you can go out, and because you only got about sometimes a half hour, 45 minutes. Now you can keep fishing and catch a few more, maybe catch a big one, but it usually lasts in August, September. This summertime thing lasts about an hour at the most. But yeah, come on down here and do it with us here. We're going out Scott Driver now, and Mr. Roy's running it. He'll see here. We'll go to my Facebook page because I have the weigh-in on live on my Facebook page. But if you come down here and you want to fish it, guys, bring a spinner bait, or I caught every one of them this morning on the old reliable, the Horticator with black. I switched my trailer to black, guys, because the water is draining out of the river is out in the lake now, and it's black. I mean, it's really black. But I still caught some fish, but I switched my trailer to black on my Horticator. Of course, I got my tubing up there, which that's the best thing I ever done. It saved a lot of time where it used to tangle up in these on these split rings and stuff. I don't have to worry about that now. It's just I like the tubing. A lot of people doing other things now. They're kind of copying me a little bit. They're using coffee stirs and stuff, which that's okay. But I like the flexibility of this tubing. It'll flex, turn right. You do that, and they bend, they kink. This right here just bends, and it don't affect the fish at all. I mean, you still catch a fish. But yeah, go over on my Facebook page, and I will have the live weigh-in this morning, guys. Come down here and go fishing. If you do, come down here, get you a spinnerbait or a Horticator or a swim jig or speed worm, or just whatever you're comfortable with. Right here will catch them too. Right there, that old big old worm or mini that's the swim bait there they call it. You can get those, and Bitter makes them, everybody makes them, Zoom makes them. They're all different. I like the bigger ones because the smaller ones, if you're fishing a tournament, you don't want those. And if you use one of those, you're going to catch bigger fish. You got to be 14 inches from the way in. And but yeah, I had a good morning this morning, guys. Had a lot of fun. But yeah, come down here and do it. And if you could do, go out on front of Grassy, or I'm sorry, not Grassy, but King's Bar. There's plenty of room out there. Just pull in there in some Kissimmee grass and throw this stuff in that Kissimmee grass. Slow roll it out. Or go down there at Third Point, out front of Buckhead. same thing, or go down there in front of Tent House, the grass down there, or down there by Worm Cove. I usually just go to Tent House because I usually just go to King's Bar because in 5 minutes I can be there, and if they bite, if they don't bite, it's just really quick. This time of year, August, September, it's just tough, and you can always catch a few fish. But come down here and fish with us, guys. Yeah, every one of them come on the Horticator with a black trailer on it. You can use Zoom, you can use Bass Assassin. This is Zoom here. I stopped and got some Zoom at the shop this morning and used the Zoom. So yeah, watch me catch a few here. If you want to do this, guys, give me a call again, 304-398-5215, and we'll go out in the grass and catch some, take some shiners. If you want to use some shiners, like I said, just for 2 or 3 hours, and a couple $100 is what it'll cost you, and especially in this tough times. But if you want, like I said, if you want to fish till 11 o'clock, I'll stay right there with you, and we'll flip. If you want to flip, you can flip. But you're not going to catch much from 8:30, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So I just recommend going for 3 hours for $200. Anyways, over and out, guys. Watch the weigh-in over on my Facebook page.
Well, it was another light show this morning when I got out there, and the lightning, I always enjoy that. You know, I sit there and just kind of watch that over there. It's on the coast over there. It's not dangerous, but it's pretty not neat, you know what I mean? Mother Nature's fireworks, it really is. And you just sit there and watch it in the distance, but 6:30 is when I caught my first fish, and it was just starting to get break day. If you watch me, I just barely see it, but that's when I got my first fish. I had 2 guys come up to me the Old Timers tournament today and ask me, you know, I talk about what I catch them on, what line I use, and what pole I use, but I never really went into detail too much what I do. I mean, and if you watch everybody, they're kind of doing the same thing out there in the semi-grass there on Lake Okeechobee, but something you don't want to do. Well, you can do it, but you're not going to get the numbers and real early in the morning because you've only got a half hour or 45 minutes to catch a fish. But what I do is I take a spinnerbait or the Horticator or whatever you got, or Big Easy, speed worm, or whatever you're throwing, okay, whatever you're throwing. And these guys just moved here, and another guy, he was fishing the river, and the river died, okay. But this is what I do. I go out there right at daylight. You see, I'm out there right at daylight, and I just I use electronics, and I try to find some fish with my electronics. But you don't have to do that. You can go down there and listen for them, or you can just go down there and find some semi-grass. I mean, just ease in there, but you got to be there before daylight. I mean, it's got to be dark, and you got to ease in there before daylight to get them. And what you do is I use 65-pound test braid, like I always said, and because I don't want to break off on them back here, because them Horticators and spinnerbaits are $15-$20, you know, but they'll last forever. But if you use 14-pound test line, you're going to break off. So you got to use really heavy braid for this type of fishing. And what you do is you just pull up the edge of the semi-grass, and you throw that bait as far as you can throw back in that semi-grass, and you just start reeling it out. I mean, it's pretty simple, really. I mean, you just start reeling it out of there. If you watch me there, I'm throwing that thing way back in there. And what I do, I just and I found these fish with my electronics, but I just start cutting a pie, you might say. I throw it here, and I'll throw it over there. I'll just and go back, and then turn around and go back, and do the same thing. Now, if you find fish, you can sit there and eventually you'll catch them, because like I said, you've only got a half hour, 45 minutes, so you don't want to do no running around. You want to ease in there in some grass and start casting. The guy come in there on me right down there, but they were catching a few down there too. But yeah, but I usually just ease down the bank here about 50 yards once in a while. But if I'm catching them like that, he kind of cut me off here a little bit. I couldn't go that way. So, but that's all right. I sat there and still caught some fish. I think I had 12.5 pounds in the tournament. I think Joey got 21 pounds. Joey had a good day. He caught some big fish. And then Big Dawn and Herman, they had like 13.5 pounds. So, you know, but if you go in there and you say you get out there at daylight and you start flipping, okay, you get out there flipping, you're going to hit a spot 6 inches, and you know what I'm saying. It'd be different if you had a bite all day, but you don't. You don't have that bite all day. You got to try to make do with what you can. Now, by fishing like this in that Kissimmee grass, you throw it out there and you reel it in. You cover territory and you catch fish. Yeah, you can see this catches fish, and the fishing really slows down after 8 o'clock. I mean, I quit at 8 o'clock when I always go up the river there in this tournament and put the power poles out and get my throw cushion and make a pillow out of it and lay down and listen to music or whatever on my phone, you know. Because I'm not going to go out there in August and September and beat myself to death for one fish, you know. But yeah, again, guys, if you've never done it, if you go in there and you watch them guys, they're throwing that bait clear back in the grass, all the way you can throw it, and then just reel it out, and just about, you know, real slow, 2 or 3 inches underneath the water, the blades are moving. And you know, if you look back on some of my videos and stuff, I use 90% of the time I use a horticator or a spinnerbait, and sometimes I use a swim jig. I'll take a swim jig, but this year I've done best with the spinnerbait stuff and Hoyt spinnerbaits. But and getting back to Hoyt spinnerbaits hold up, guys. They're really tough. And the only place you can buy them is Garrett's Tackle Shop. Garrett's Tackle Shop is the only place you can buy them. And yeah, that's how I do it. Now everybody else does it different, I suppose, but yeah, I just most of the guys you go out there and I'm talking about the everyday guys that go out there and fish for them. They're doing exactly what I'm doing right there. They're throwing out there in the grass and reeling it in, and throw it out there as far as you can throw it, and just reel it real slow through the grass. You can use the other spinner baits, the War Eagles, the Bass Pros, and you know. But what happens is, that wire, it gets bent out of shape, then you bend it back and it gets out of shape, then it'll break right down there where the turn is. Which baits don't do that. They really hold up. And this is a summertime thing, guys. I mean, I don't do this in the wintertime. This is a summertime pattern I use to catch these fish out there. And luckily I come on to them spinner baits that hold up. I mean, I've got the ones I've got 5 or 4 years ago just look like they come out of the package. I mean, you don't tear them up. I mean, he puts them together pretty good. Yeah, now watch, when I bring this fish in, if I see if I throw out again. You don't want to flip, okay? You really don't want to flip, guys. You want to cast out into that grass and reel back real slow. Go out there on front of King's Bar and find some Kissimmee grass and try it. I mean, just throw it back in there, and again, daylight, guys. Get out there 10, 15 minutes get out there before 6:30. So, but anyhow, yeah, that's how I do it. And I've had a couple guys. One reason I was going into a little bit more detail is because a couple guys asked me, you know, I only caught 2, I only caught 1. Well, what was you doing? He said, well, we were flipping, you know, flipping right. We was out there at daylight, we was flipping. We could hear them popping back in there. Yeah, they're popping back in there, hitting shad. Yeah, try this pattern out there, and you'll get the numbers for 45 minutes. You'll catch a lot of fish. And don't go way back in. Stay in the Kissimmee grass right on the edge of the lake. Right on the edge of the lake. Don't go way back in there, because they're not back in there, guys. They're right there on the edge of the lake. They're coming out of there. As the sun starts coming up, I really believe the bait's coming out of there and the fish are coming out of there, and they're going out into the lake till tomorrow. Really, they are. At this time of year, I mean, they're going back out of there, you know. But yeah, don't flip, guys. Throw a swim jig in there or whatever, or first thing in the morning. Cover some territory. If you're flipping, you're not going to do it, you know what I'm saying? Especially, and the fishing's really tough right now. I mean, we got all that bad water coming down there. You see how far I'm out there? I'm reeling that thing right in there. I'm throwing out there and reeling. I'm covering territory. And I'm catching fish. I mean, it catches fish. It really does. Catches nice fish. I mean, that one there was 4 pounds something I caught. And not yesterday, but the day before I caught one 5.5 and 4.5 doing this. But again, I'm going to tell you again, throw way out there and just start reeling back towards you. And you'll catch fish like that right there, I guarantee it. But 65-pound test Power Pro. Don't use anything less than 65-pound test. Because if you look at some of my videos in the back, I'm taking 2 hands and pulling them fish out of that grass. Yeah, and don't worry, them spinner baits will come through that grass. And put that tubing in front of it, like I showed you in the back. Put that tubing in the back in front of it. That way it don't wrap up, it don't get tangled up. And you got to keep that thing straight, because if it gets sideways on that line and it's dark, you don't want to fool with it. You don't have to worry about it. You put that tubing on your line going down to your spinner bait. And yeah, well, some of the guys have started using them coffee stirrers, which that's all right too. But I started with I started throwing with that tubing, like just aquarium, with tubing. That's what I use. Or the stuff that you use, like you get a lot of it with a mini bucket. You don't want to say aerator with your mini bucket, that tubing air. And I put it right, if you look at it, I put it right ahead of my spinner bait and slide it down there. I put, I don't know, 8-10 inches, and it don't affect the bite. I mean, they don't pay any attention to that. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah, but the guys again stopped down there at Garrett's. The only place you can get them good spinner baits. Had a good morning, guys. I got my butt beat though. Joey Roberts beat me, and Mr. Dawn and Herman, they got 15.5 pounds. Still had a pretty good morning. Caught a lot of fish. I mean, for 45 minutes, just like I said, fast as I could get out there, I caught a fish. But another beautiful morning, guys, on Lake Okeechobee. Oh, and by the way, I'm using black now on the trailer because the water out there is black. That water's coming out of the river. And it's kind of got into the out in there, and the water's gotten really black. It was crystal clear, and I was using the green pumpkin and the bass assassin marsh monkey, but I went to black now. So, and it makes made a difference. Does it make a difference? Yeah, it made a difference for me. Good times on Okeechobee, guys.